Hey guys, how's it going today? So I want to talk about baby step number 2, which is going to follow after, of course, baby step 1. This is going to be another perspective on it, maybe something that since I've got a little bit more life experience since I've done this video several months ago, I thought I'd bring in just another touch to baby step 2, which is getting rid of all of your debts utilizing the debt snowball. What you're basically doing is, let's just say that you got 3 different debts, right? So you've got say a credit card bill that's you owe $1,000 on, your payment is $25 a month. You've got another bill for $5,000 that it's like $250 a month, and then say a $20,000 car note that you're paying $450 a month on. The idea is that you work on the smallest principal first and pay that off as hard as you can. So if you've got $300 a month for expendable income, take that $300 plus the minimum payment on that lowest payment and pay it off completely. Okay, now while you're getting this paid off, you're paying the minimum payments on everything else. Okay, so you're starting small, you're just knocking that debt out. Then you're taking everything and throwing it into the next payment and getting that paid off as soon as possible. Now you've got some extra cash rolling around now because you've got less debts to pay. So each debt that you're paying off, it's getting you more money to throw into the next debt and more money to throw in the next one and the next one. And it psychologically is designed to build your confidence level in the fact that one day you're going to get out of debt. Whether it be $10,000 or $150,000, there is going to be a point to where you're going to cross that line, you're going to be done, and you're going to have it paid off. So how does this apply to me? Okay, so I was very blessed growing up that in the fact that I never really had any kind of debt. Okay, so I'd owe my dad like $100 from time to time because he'd spot me some money for vacation, whatever it might be. Cause I was a teenager, I didn't make a lot of money. But here's what I learned about debt to apply it to my life situation now is, thinking about the expenses to come. Okay, so down the road, I'm going to try to buy a house, okay? And I'm going to have to buy a car at some point. My Pilot's got 180-some thousand miles on it. My wife is about to hit 200,000 miles on her Camry. So sooner or later, we're going to have to replace a car. Sooner or later, we're going to want to buy a house. These things, a lot of people get into debt over. Now, debt, I'm not going to say it's a terrible, terrible thing if you know how to manage it properly and if you can build your credit. This is something Dave Ramsey would not encourage, and this is something that, generally speaking, I don't encourage. I think there are certain caveats to where it could be an okay thing, but honestly, I don't recommend it. I have no debt now, and we're very comfortable with that. It's very, satisfying knowing that if we lost our jobs, we don't have debt that's going to keep us down, and we just have to worry about surviving until we can get another job. But, right now we're thinking about the car. So every single month we have an X amount of dollars that goes towards the car. And of course, we're trying to do the whole free cars for life thing, as I've discussed in the past. But, it takes money to get there. And so having a start and making those payments to ourselves in a way that where that money will come back on us and we'll be able to buy whatever car we need, or if we need to finance, we can't, whatever we have to do, but we'll at least have some money to put into it. So I probably wouldn't buy a $40,000 car unless we were really, really able to afford it. But let's just say a $40,000 car. If I had 10 grand to put into this $40,000 car, I've got 25% of the car already paid for, and that makes my payments at this point significantly lower than putting zero money down and hoping for a chance at approval. Now, again, this is not a good idea to have debt, but this is how I'm using it for myself, right? So I'm taking what could be debts in my life and I'm saving those for down payments or cash purchases of what I might need. So right now, the house, we're putting money aside for a house, we're putting money aside for a car, making payments every single month to ourselves, so when the time is right, we have money to put into it. Now, if we're able to pay cash for whatever it is we're going to buy, hey, that's a great thing. We're paying cash, we're not having to worry about getting in debt. But since we don't have debt, it's a hard philosophy to have to live by using the debt snowball, because we've just never had the issue ourselves. But using the debt mentality to pay yourself for when the time comes that you have those needs, it does amazing things. It gives you things that you need. It's not just like, oh no, I need a car, I've got nothing to put into it. No, you've actually got cash on hand to be able to put into it, whether it's a cash payment or if it's going to be a financed thing. And so that's how the debt snowball and the whole idea of debt really has affected me. Obviously coming from a perspective of not having debt, but utilizing, potential debts in a way that I could, pay towards it, or pay towards an upcoming purchase that most people go into debt over. Of course, a house that we're going to try to buy, probably going to have a mortgage regardless of how long we save, just because houses are expensive. I mean, we're going to try to keep it relatively low in price, but, a good house that's not terribly old, but that's like a decent house, you're still looking in the 140s to 150s. Now you can get them cheaper, but depending on what you're looking for and what you need, you're going to make sacrifices for what you want and need, whatever. That's a whole nother conversation for what we're looking for. But just in our area, it's not cheap to buy houses these days. So that is how debt has affected me, and how avoiding debt, I'll go ahead and say, as a debt-free person, if you can at all avoid debt, do it, because it's never a good thing to start out with, especially because that's just one thing that you have to worry about. See, we're going to get into baby step 3, which is the taking that emergency fund that we had started out with $1,000 and building it up to the 3 to 6 month point. That's crucial. And so when you don't have debts, you can build up to that point. And so that's why I'm firmly against debt if you can help it. But, from our perspective, this is where we came from. Not having a debt to be able to work towards baby step 3 was a huge, huge step. So understanding this mindset that we're in now, we're trying to get rid of all of our debt, right? This is what baby step 2 is all about. Brilliant thing. This is why you've already got $1,000 in the bank. Okay, so while you're working so hard at this, if things go wrong, it's okay. That's the reason you've got this small emergency fund. Now, of course, this isn't going to cover the major emergencies. However, it does cover the basics, the things that you might need at the front. Now, just since we're in baby step 2 at this point, there's one thing I do want to go over with you. If for some reason something happens, say you do have to spend, whatever, a tire blows and you got to spend $200 fixing it, however much it may be, you now take that $1,000, now you got $800 because you just spent $200 on a tire. Well, take your time off, continue making the minimum payments on your payments, on your debts, but go ahead and get that back up to $1,000 and start back at baby step 1. It's a hard thing to do, but it's like climbing a ladder, okay? So you got to get the first rung, then the second rung, then the third rung. But if it starts wobbling and things go off, you've got to take a step back down. That's for your safety. It's supposed to help you build, okay? You've got to have a foundation. Just like building a house, you got to have a foundation before you can build the walls. You got to have the walls before you can build the roof, and so on and so forth, okay? So you've got to keep it foundational. So baby step 2, with the baby step 1, having that $1,000, maintaining that $1,000, okay? And then the next step is getting out of your debt. And again, this is going to include all of your debts except the house. Now, if you have rental property that you owe money on, that's going to be for a later time, okay? So don't worry about any mortgages right now. This is just covering credit card debt, your car debt, student loans, whatever it may be. And get out there, work hard, get them paid off, and get ready for baby step 3. But it is a weekend, so thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. I do welcome comments and criticisms. Please do give those, because I really do want to find out how I can make this better, how I can make it more of a learning atmosphere. So that'll be all for today. I know I'm inside. I'm not in my car. It didn't work today. I'm off. So thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.